Graduates, you may be seated for a moment. Bienvenidos, shalom, Allah wa salam, yokoso, jambo, welcome. Good afternoon and welcome to our 98th commencement, celebrating the achievements of the class of 2022. We begin with our national anthem, sung in accordance with a long-standing McGeorge tradition by members of our faculty. In this instance, Professors Carrie Bricker, Clark Kelso, Jay Leach, Jeff Prosky, and Jared Wong. Please stand for the national anthem, and then remain standing for the invocation by Associate Dean Mary Beth Moylan.
Welcome to everyone. We come together today from many corners of the globe, from many backgrounds and experiences, to share and celebrate a universal experience, to recognize a transition in the lives of the people in this room sitting in front of me. Each and every student who is becoming a graduate today has taken a unique and challenging path to get here. Some challenges have been external, some have been internal. Some challenges have been experienced by many, and some by only a few of us. But all of the students who are seated here today have conquered these challenges to achieve this goal. Each and every parent, spouse, child, friend, or community member in this audience has watched and supported and is ready to celebrate your accomplishments today. Together, yeah, you can do that. It's an invocation, but it's not church. Together, it is time to open our ceremony, to open our hearts, to recognize our common ground, and to take a moment out of our stressful, plague-ridden, war-torn world to be in community with one another for the purpose of celebration and joy. Class of 2022, and those of you who finished in 2021, prepare yourselves to reflect, to celebrate, and to resonate gratitude for the blessings you have and the people who love you. Let us commence.
Please be seated. I am now pleased to introduce our distinguished platform party. As I call the names of those on the platform, Please rise and remain standing. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. First, from our University Board of Regents, Paul Desenko, McGeorge class of 1982. Second, our keynote speaker, Tia Boatman-Patterson, McGeorge class of 1994. It's hard not to applaud. Third, our university leadership, Dr. Maria Palavicini, University Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Maria Blandisi, Vice President for Student Life, and Dean Peter Whitty from the Conservatory of Music. Okay. Fourth, I wish to make some special acknowledgments. Your time at McGeorge has been unique and in many ways incredibly difficult. You've navigated a horrific pandemic, a terrible war, and a profound racial reckoning. This spring has also been challenging for our community as we've had to say goodbye to an unusually large number of beloved colleagues. The following two faculty are retiring and have been named emeriti: Professor Carrie Bricker and Professor Jay Leach. We also have said goodbye to beloved Assistant Deans Simmons, Stafford, Morell, and Danavaro. Finally, I am so proud and really filled with joy to recognize our distinguished faculty sitting on the podium. Working with my faculty colleagues to serve our students is probably the best part of my job as dean. My colleagues have diverse and incredibly impressive backgrounds, employ a wide range of teaching styles, and pursue an exciting variety of scholarly interests. They have earned reputations locally, nationally, and internationally as scholars and as public servants. But in one respect, we are all alike. Our first priority is educating our students to become outstanding members of the legal profession. Members of the faculty, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. It is now my great honor and pleasure to introduce an inspiring McGeorge alumna and a friend. Tia Boatman-Patterson, JD 94, was selected by President Joe Biden to serve in his administration in 2021. She joined the White House's Office of Management and Budget as the Associate Director for Housing, Treasury, and Commerce. Ms. Boatman-Patterson currently leads the team in the OMB that develops and oversees budgets for many federal agencies, including the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Small Business Administration. Previously, she spent 9 years in a leadership role with the California Housing Finance Agency. Ms. Boatman-Patterson has helped more than 60,000 low and moderate income families find homes and secured over $4 billion in loans for single families during her time at California Housing Finance Agency. Her time leading California Housing Finance Agency was the agency's most successful stretch in its 46-year history. She currently serves on the McGeorge School of Law's Diversity Board and the Capital Center for Law and Policy's Alumni Advisory Board. She was able to take advantage of the networking opportunities given through McGeorge post-graduation, which led her to where she is today. On a personal level, she is one of the most gracious, kind, supportive people I know. She speaks her mind, and she insists on the best of us. She has served on our diversity board since its founding 3.5 years ago, and I know I am a better dean because of it. Many of our graduates have been the beneficiaries of our virtual food pantry. That exists because of Ms. Boatman-Patterson and the chair of our diversity board, Eric Barnum, inspiring that of the diversity board and ultimately to alumni donors all over the country. So any of you who have benefited from that, please join me in welcoming her to the podium.
Wow, I'm trying to recognize who it was that he was introducing. Wow. Dean Schwartz, I want to thank you for that most gracious introduction. And I also want to thank Dean Schwartz for everything that he has done for McGeorge School of Law. I also want to start by congratulating the entire class of 2022. I understand there are 19 of you completing a master's in law, 12 completing a master's of science in the law, 35 completing a master's of public administration and public policy, and 160 of you receiving your Juris Doctorate. Give yourself applause. Completing law school is very difficult, regardless of what is going on in the world. While attending law school is often difficult to also stay up on current events. As the class of 22, you may not have had that luxury. You simply could not tune out the world. You can't exactly ignore a global pandemic, increasing racial tension, and a war taking place in Ukraine. For you all, completing your studies has been downright heroic. In fact, give yourself another round of applause. When I was asked to be your commencement speaker, I quickly agreed because of how much I admire Dean Schwartz and respect him and what he has brought to McGeorge and the McGeorge community. I don't really think I even gave it much thought. I think he asked me because of my current position. It has a very long title. Associate Director of Housing, Treasury, and Commerce in the Office of Management and Budget in the Executive Office of the President. Yes, I was appointed by the President of the United States. I do serve in the largest component of the Executive Office of the President and reports directly to the President to implement the President's vision. When I accepted the position, I remember telling my granddaughter, she was 10 at the time, I was going to Washington, D.C. to work for the President. And she asked, "What President?" My look must have given it away because her eyes got really big. And she said, "Oh, you mean like the President of the United States?" Yes, dear, the President of the United States. So I'm pretty sure that is why Dean Schwartz asked me to come and speak to you today. And of course, I am a 1994 proud graduate of McGeorge School of Law. Now, I'm going to say something that is a little shocking, but I want you all to stay with me. What Dean Schwartz may not have known when he asked me to be your speaker for this commencement is that the first decade after I graduated McGeorge, I despised McGeorge. When anyone would ask me about my law school experience, I would tell them it was very negative. This was the early 1990s. I was a single mother. I am a woman of color. While most students were focused solely on studying, I was juggling life and experiencing world events very differently and didn't always have that luxury. During my time in law school, America witnessed the beating of Rodney King. by police officers, caught on tape by pure chance. An era before cell phone cameras. During my time in law school, Anita Hill was testifying on Capitol Hill at the nomination for the hearings of Clarence Thomas. And the O.J. Simpson trials dominated the news. Here on campus, I was struggling financially, working as a student assistant in the library, and the then Dean of Student Affairs reminded me during my first year that the school wasn't willing to take a big chance with me on any scholarships or financial assistance because based on my test scores and grades, I was a borderline student not likely to actually graduate. I tried to also ignore the nasty notes that were left in my Pendilex file. That was pre-email, you know, back in the old fogey days, we had these files. And I would often get nasty notes in my Pendilex file telling me that I didn't belong. I tried to ignore all of that and shut all of that out. But one thing I couldn't ignore was when a visiting law professor, a constitutional law professor, referred to African Americans in his class notes as NIGs. N-I-G-G-S. I'm gonna let you sit with that for a minute. It wasn't 1952. This was 1992. And he was using the abbreviation for the N-word. Now it's 2022. And let's think about the events that have shaped your law school experience. A police officer killed George Floyd while kneeling on his neck for 9 minutes. And it was caught on tape by a 17-year-old using a video cell phone camera. 4 hearings for justices of the Supreme Court of the United States in the last few years, including the historical confirmation of the first Black woman in its 232-year history. A leak of a draft opinion restricting individual rights and overturning a woman's right to control her own body. As McGeorge graduates, these events are part of your experience, just as the events of the early 1990s, both at school and in the world at large, were part of mine. There's something else that will be part of your experience, and that is what originally inspired you all to go to law school or to complete a legal education. My inspiration came back when I was about 5 or 6 years old. Seeing my uncle getting tossed into the back of a police car and having my grandmother wail about how much the family needed an attorney. I had no idea what an attorney was, but in that moment, I was determined to be one. My grandmother inspired my law career, and she taught me lessons that have served me in my career. Follow your passion or your curiosity, be kind, and there is something bigger than you. But it was my mother who is my greatest hero and who inspired my philosophy that guides my whole life and my career. I think she did this at first without even knowing. You see, at the end of every month, my mother, who was a single mother, would gather together with her single girlfriends, who were also single parents, and they would have a potluck. It would consist of the most random assortments, because whatever was left in your refrigerator or your cabinet, you would bring it to the potluck. As a kid, I thought this was so much fun, and I couldn't wait till the end of the month for us all to gather for our potlucks. It wasn't until much later, as adults, my sister and I came to realize why my mother and her girlfriends were having those potlucks. It was because at the end of the month, not one of them had enough to feed their families. But when they all came together, we could have a meal and none of us went hungry. You know, our country and our American dream seems to be built on a false assumption that there is only one pie and we all have to fight to get a slice. If someone gets a piece of pie, that means there's less for someone else. It's time to change that narrative. It's time to have the Great American Potluck, where we are all contributing. Instead of what's in it for me, or where is my piece of pie, let's ask, what can we bring? What can I give to make this a better place? Taking without contribution will leave the well dry. We're experiencing that right now in the Central Valley with all of the water we've pumped out of the aqueducts without trying to replenish it. We will continue to be the last in education, last in public health, our climate will continue to suffer, and our economy will go downhill. We, none of us, is the center of the universe. We are actually something better. We are part of a larger system, and if we all do our part, the whole can be greater than any individual. This will serve you well in life, and it will serve you as you go on into your career. When you react to situations, remember that not everyone has your life experiences, and you do not have theirs. People, where they are, you need to meet those people where they are. You need to be open, take a step back, and see things not from just your perspective, but their perspective as well. It is also important to be aware that time and experience changes perspective. This will make you a better person and a better lawyer. I no longer despise McGeorge. I received an excellent legal education. I can go toe-to-toe with them boys from Harvard, Princeton, Yale. Got nothing on a McGeorge grad. So that's what brought me back here today. The honor that I have for this school and the foundation it gave me to be who I am today. Whether you think by plan or chance, some greater power or a divine intervention, a set of circumstances came together and gave you some possibilities. So whether it is right now, 10 or 20 years from now, you are who you are, and you are a part of a greater, bigger, something bigger than you. I recently saw an article in space.com. A group of mathematicians got together and developed an equation to figure out the chances of life emerging on a planet. They said that it was 1 in a trillion different test tubes. You could have them all together and still life might not exist. Think about that. The odds of any one of us standing here is less than 1 in a trillion. So how do you make the most of this incredible opportunity called life. I've had a career in public service. I've advised mayors, 3 speakers, 2 governors, and now the President of the United States. So I will try to offer you some wisdom. First, be open to possibilities as they present themselves. When I graduated law school, I had no idea the path would be to work in affordable housing, but I had experience in growing up in public housing with a single mother. You are all smart, and you know hard work. None of you would be here without intelligence and a strong work ethic. Build relationships. Networking is really important, but be authentic. I'm going to repeat that. Be authentic. We don't have enough of that in this country. This is just part of the equation. But you gotta bring it all together. Show up, be open to the possibilities that may be presented, be authentic, but most important, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to take risk for fear of failure. Until you know adversity, you will not know success. Those are the life lessons my grandmother instilled in me. They've guided my life and my career. Maybe your career and success is pro bono work, preventing an immigrant from being deported unfairly, saving an innocent man from the death penalty. As a district attorney, finding the right balance between taking dangerous people off of the street or making sure people of all backgrounds feel safe. Maybe success for you is becoming a judge, working as a public civil servant, or excelling in private practice. Whatever it is, wherever you go, don't forget, there is less than 1 in a trillion chance any of us would even exist, let alone be intelligent, amazing McGeorge graduates. So go make your mark. Follow your passion and your curiosity, and leave the world a better place than you found it. Thank you.
Please join me one more time in thanking Tia Boatman-Patterson for her dedicated service to our country and for making McGeorge look so good. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our Provost, Dr. Maria Palavicini, who will convey her personal congratulations to the class of 2022. Provost Palavicini serves as the university's chief academic officer and has overall responsibility for the institution's educational and research programs, faculty, library services, and continuing education. She holds a bachelor's degree in biochemistry from UC Berkeley and a doctorate in pharmacology from the University of Utah. Dr. Palavicini has taught freshman general education courses on stem cell biology, as well as advanced upper division and graduate courses in cancer biology and genetics. She is internationally recognized for her research in stem cells in health and disease, particularly stem cells in cancer. Provost Palavicini works closely with faculty, deans, and student life to ensure academic opportunities and experiences at Pacific are excellent. I cannot allow the moment of her coming to speak to you to go by with a mere resume. Dr. Palavicini has been a steadfast supporter of the law school and of me. She may be the calmest human in the universe. She's incredibly thoughtful and smart, warm and caring, and she is an advocate for the people she supervises. I have to say, she's probably the best boss I've ever had, and I am certain McGeorge is better off because of her. In fact, she doesn't even complain about the hundreds of texts she receives each year from the Dean of the Law School. Please join me in welcoming and thanking Provost Maria Palavicini.
Thank you, Dean Michael Hunter Schwartz. Congratulations, graduates, class of 2022. Congratulations, parents, family, and friends who have had such a key role in helping our graduates complete their journeys to the degrees they're going to receive today. In many ways that only you can know, there's no doubt that your support for these graduates enabled them to achieve and to be successful. Graduates, you're very aware that you're going into a world that is very different from when you started at McGeorge. Of course, there was COVID, which impacted so many things of everyone's lives, including yours, including how you learned, how you and your professors interacted, your experiences with your friends, and your overall McGeorge experience. But you adjusted, and every one of you who is here today demonstrated that characteristic of resilience that is an attribute for all those who have navigated these times. During your time at McGeorge, so many issues that are endemic to our society have come to the forefront. Racism, racial biases, social injustices in the world became so clearly evident, of police brutality, racial motivated killing, and loss of life hit the mainstream media. During your time at McGeorge, you saw the use of power simply because one had it, as evident in the invasion of Ukraine, resulting in the disruption and loss of hundreds of thousands of lives. And most recently, the loss of 21 lives in the Texas school shooting because one individual had the means and the power to inflict indescribable tragedy for the school children and their families. These are just a few examples of disastrously misplaced power. But as graduates, you have the knowledge and the power to make changes in our world, whether it's in the life of an individual or in a community or in a system. Commit to be a positive force against systemic racism. Decide to be a force and commit to it. Commit to caring deeply about each and every individual in your lives and who you meet. And use your knowledge and skills to improve individuals' lives. Commit to making a difference, as our speaker so aptly described. Your time at McGeorge School of Law, you've received many gifts of knowledge and skill and power. And your time at McGeorge School of Law has prepared you to make a difference. So go forth, everybody, and as our speaker said, make the world a better place. Congratulations.
Thank you, Provost Palavicini. The graduating class has selected 2 speakers, one each to represent the JD program and the master's programs. Representing the master's programs is Ali Tabatabahi. Mr. Tabatabai earned a bachelor's degree in journalism from San Francisco State University. He and his wife have since planted roots in East Sacramento, where they raised their 10-year-old daughter. Currently, he runs a small business that helps people living with a disability manage their finances. Under his management, the program helped recover millions in unpaid benefits for many Californians living in poverty. He came to McGeorge to sharpen his leadership skills and make a broader impact on disability policy. Mr. Tabahi.
See you. All right, settle down, settle down. This is cool though, right? Huh? Well, I stand here today feeling immense gratitude. I get to be up here and represent an outstanding and resilient group of scholars and professionals. Each graduate out here today is here because of their own personal drive and dedication to achieve something great, all while persevering through a pandemic, wildfires, and many other personal and unique adversities. They have been undeterred in their focus and commitment to greater learning and greater self-improvement. But also, we're up here today in large part because of the dedication and support from you all sitting out here. We have achieved something great because of our families, our friends, and professors, and all the people behind the scenes here at McGeorge. You were there for us, building a platform for success. None of us could have done this without you, except maybe Alyssa Gomlicki. She's like a machine. Thank you for carrying us through all those group projects. Back must be sore. But anyway, seriously, for all the support you gave us, I have endless gratitude. And I ask my colleagues down here to take a second and think about the people who are most responsible for you being here today. Whether they're here today or somewhere else, how about a round of applause for them? Thank you, seriously, thank you for all that you have done for us. Now we get to pay it forward. We get to go out and lead because of your support. We're about to level up, but we're about to level up into a point in time where there is great division in our community and in our nation. It's hard not to be angry each day you see the news, no matter who's feeding you that news. As a parent of a grade schooler, as an American, my heart was broken once again this week. And honestly, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I get worried on how we can ever get anything accomplished when our society is so polarized. But then I think about my experience here at McGeorge. And I remain hopeful. I think about the bond I made with someone like Frank Madrigal. Where are you at, Frank? There you are. He and I might stand on opposite sides of many issues, but that didn't get in our way. Our professors showed us how to constructively voice our values. They put a strong emphasis on teamwork. They put us through something I like to call the triple G, the grueling gauntlet of group work. We had to work together, so we helped each other with our research. We helped each other ask better questions. We cared about the facts, and we cared about good methods. About the only time Frank and I really fought was over who got the honor of buying a round after finishing a big project. And tonight, Frank, I gotta tell you, bud, you got the honor. Hope you brought your wallet. I said earlier that I remain hopeful. Hope has carried us through times in our recent history, tough ones. But if I want to be real, I'm afraid hope isn't enough anymore. We are at the point of must. We must go out and fix things. To my fellow JD and Masters of Law colleagues, it's about to be your turn to put your spin on the wheels of justice. We are counting on you to impact great law. And when you do, and you will, my fellow public policy graduates and I are here to help you implement it. I've seen a level of tenacity from my classmates who showed me how we can lead the way on issues like homelessness, climate change, refugee resettlement, and criminal justice reform. And yeah, gun control and mental health programs too. We need to see some changes on these things. They showed me leadership means caring about details. It means doing work at high standards that can start ripple effects throughout our communities and our institutions. Together, we will go out and lead that way. Our training here at McGeorge and our perseverance through adversity has strengthened us. This class of 2022, I've worked alongside them. They're built differently. They don't have no fear. And now we have the professional tools to go out there and fix this place up. We're counting on each other. There's more that binds us than divides us. Forget about blue hats, forget about those red hats. Think about these funny little hats we're wearing today. That's what binds us. Today we celebrate our individual achievement, but we must remember that we got here today by learning together. We're gonna go out and change the world, having trained under the same masters. And because of that, we have more in common than we have in difference. Remember that. Remember this moment. And congratulations, class of 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Representing the JD programs is Julian Correa. Ms. I'm not surprised. Ms. Correa received her bachelor's degree in psychology and sociology at UC Davis. In her 2L year at McGeorge, she served as the Diversity Affairs Committee Chair for the Asian Pacific American Law Student Association and co-president for Unity Caucus, where she helped establish the McGeorge Diverse Graduate Support Stipend and McGeorge's Diversity Mixer and Resume Collect program. During her time at McGeorge, she was selected to participate in the Prisoner Civil Rights Mediation Clinic and the University of the Pacific Law Review as a primary editor. She worked as a certified legal intern for the Sacramento Public Defender's Office, judicial extern for Chief Judge Kimberly J. Mueller in the United States District Court, Eastern District of California, and now works as a law clerk for Wright Law Corporation. Ms. Correa.
Good afternoon. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to this special day. I am so honored to have this opportunity to speak before you all, in person, without Zoom. In law school, we are taught to use analogical reasoning in our analysis. So I will analogize this experience in the most simplified way, with plants. Life goes on while we are in school, and sometimes that means missing important moments and having to face strenuous realities we have no control over, such as the pandemic. We lose sleep and our weekends because we are studying or briefing cases. Thank goodness we don't have to do the latter as much anymore, unless you stopped after 1L year. And after law school, many of us have to take one more test. With plants, things don't always go well. You overwater, you forget to water, you just have no idea what is going on. You feel like it's you, but it is not, which is why we have to have some empathy for ourselves. With every failure, there are more successes. With plants, it grows. Here, we adjust and we learn. We have support, and we deserve to be here. Each one of us came here today with our own roots. I will tell you mine. I am a first-generation immigrant, and I am Filipina. I come from a country known for its diverse islands, kind people, and resilient history. My parents, Eileen and Rodolfo Correa Jr., made sacrifices, leaving their home country and working tirelessly as nurses to prioritize my education and my future. I dedicate this Juris Doctor degree to them. I dedicate this moment to my grandmother, Merlin Correa, a teacher and an entrepreneur, a woman who taught me to fight for what I believe in and be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I believe in diversity. To me, it is necessary to dismantle barriers and encourage inclusivity. Being an advocate while being a law student is not easy. I, like many first-generation law students, suffer from imposter syndrome, which is not unrealistic considering Asians compose only 2% of the legal profession in the United States as of 2021. But I am learning to tell myself that I am resilient, and so are all of you. The law is not monolithic, but it is not always representative nor inclusive of everyone it impacts. Look at me. I'm 4'11" and a half, Filipina, and an immigrant. Over 50 years ago, it would be highly unlikely to see someone like me on a stage like this, as it was only less than 100 years ago that Filipino Larry Itliong joined with Cesar Chavez to form the United Farm Workers Movement and achieve equal pay and labor protections. With that said, the law is not just about equality, it is about equity. We learn the law, how to apply it, how to interpret it, how to argue it, how to advocate on behalf of people. The law stresses objectivity, but we are also tasked to be persuasive and apply the law to those subjective experiences and ensure that it is equitable and just. With this privilege, we have an opportunity to encourage truth and promote civility. We can empathize with people affected by laws and be critical when laws are unjust. We have the power to create meaningful change. Today marks a change in our lives. With plants, old leaves may fall, but new ones will emerge. We came in here as McGeorge students. We will leave as McGeorge alumni. I won't miss the anxieties over finals week, cold calls, or buying textbooks, but I will miss the free food and friends. Through law school and my own experiences, I now have a better understanding of truth, equity, and empathy. I graduate today better equipped on how to properly advocate in this world despite its unpredictability. To our family, friends, and pets at home, thank you for being our anchor. To McGeorge, thank you for giving us a place to thrive. For my fellow law graduates, thank you for the unforgettable memories. Before I end, I ask every graduate to take a moment to reflect and truly be proud of yourself. You graduate today because of your determination and grit. This is our success. Congratulations, class of 2022.
Thank you, Julian. We now turn to our principal order of business, the happy task of awarding Juris Doctor degrees to 153 candidates, Doctor of Juridical Science degrees to 8 candidates, Master of Laws degrees to 13 candidates, Masters of Science of Law degrees to 12 candidates, and Masters of Public Administration and Public Policy to 27 graduates. Marshals, please prepare the candidates. As the candidates gather to receive their degrees, I'm grateful for the opportunity to make some brief remarks. I wish to make 3 points, one about honoring the privilege conferred upon you, one about my belief in you, and one about the people who supported you in getting here today. First, Charles Hamilton Hughes famously said that a lawyer is either a social engineer or a parasite on society. The same can be said of an MPP or MPA graduate, LLM graduate, JSD graduate, or MSL graduate. Please don't be a parasite. I would like to tell you a not so well-known story about a 25-year-old law graduate who proved to be a social engineer, even though his job at the time, working as an intellectual property lawyer, might not have led you to believe that that would be what he would do with his career. John Banzoff III was watching football on television with his family in the Bronx on Thanksgiving in 1996 when he realized the most strategic plays were being made off the field in the cigarette commercials whose jingles, gags, slogans, and images of virile cowboys and urbane women glamorized smoking. 2 years had elapsed since the United States Surgeon General declared that smoking caused lung cancer. But while Congress had voted to require health warning labels on cigarette packaging, it had, for the time being, not regulated TV commercials, and smoking rates had not changed one iota. Frustrated by the lack of progress, he wrote a letter to the Federal Communications Commission arguing that while television news coverage included both sides of the tobacco debate, the cigarette commercials did not. Under the then called fairness doctrine, which required that both sides of an issue of public concern be presented, weren't opponents of smoking entitled to free airtime? He suggested that one anti-smoking public service message be broadcast whenever a paid cigarette advertisement was on television. The proposed formula freaked out the tobacco companies. They voluntarily stopped advertising on TV. And most importantly, smoking dramatically decreased in the years that followed. You don't need to sacrifice to be a social engineer, you just need to fight for what's right. Second, I want to tell you a story that communicates an important message about you that I want to share with you. Years ago, when I was a young lawyer and nervous about handling a case all on my own for the first time, my supervisor, who I've realized since is now a Ninth Circuit judge, told this story to me. I hope the story and its message stay with you as both have stayed with me. The story comes from a famous children's movie that was remade about 3-4 years ago. The movie is Dumbo. So in the movie Dumbo, you may recall, he was the elephant who could fly. And his friend, who I believe was a mouse or a cricket, convinced him that he had a magic feather, and this magic feather would allow him to fly. And so we started flying, and then he moved from being shunned by everybody to being a hero of the circus. In the critical moment of the movie, he is swooping throughout the big tent and putting on a wonderful show, and his friend is riding on his shoulder, and he drops the feather. And his friends start screaming, "No, you could always fly, you never needed the feather, it's really okay." And at the last moment, he swoops up and realizes he could fly on his own. So here's my message to you. As you've been studying here at McGeorge with the brilliant McGeorge faculty, it may have seemed to you sometimes, or maybe often, that you needed us to understand the law and policy, that you could not make it on your own. But we are here today because you do not need us. We are your Dumbo's feather, and we believe you will always be capable of the brilliance you have demonstrated during your time at McGeorge. In your program, you will find a feather. You've been probably wondering why someone put a feather in your program. Now you know. I hope you'll take the feather with you when you leave today and keep it as a reminder of the great things you will do on your own. And you'll do more than merely survive. Look at each other. Right now, you might only be able to see your colleagues as the collection of the person who maybe had a little too much fun at Barrister's Ball, the person who maybe you wish had spoken a little less in class, the jerk who edged you out for the highest grade in one of your classes. Your colleagues are much more than that. You will be great, and you will make the world better in ways large and small. As been true for every McGeorge graduating class, sitting among you are future judges, maybe even a state Supreme Court justice or a Ninth Circuit judge. We have many such alums. Legislators, a state attorney general. We have 2 such alums. A general counsel to a major corporation. My personal favorite, the general counsel for Harley Davidson, Dolby, and GoFundMe, and a slew of community leaders. We are so excited to follow your careers and share vicariously in your accomplishments. My third and final points are points of appreciation. All of us know the many solitary hours of sweat and tears you've devoted to your law school studies. It is stunning how much work you put into these 2, 3, or 4 years. You have survived and even prospered during a worldwide pandemic that has killed more than 1 million Americans, a racial reckoning, and the most divisive political moment our country has known. And you have touched our lives in innumerable ways, making us, and certainly me, better as teachers, staff members, and administrators. Thank you for the gift of you. Faculty and staff colleagues, please join me in thanking the class of 2022 with our applause. We are now ready for you to receive your degrees. Provost Palavicini, I am honored to present our graduates.
With the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents, I confer upon you the academic degree for which you've qualified, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining to.
Presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Public Administration and Public Policy, beginning with those members of the class of 2022 selected by our Faculty Committee on Honors and Awards for special recognition. Recognized with the MPA Award of Excellence, Alexis Ray Richardson. Also recognized with the MPA Award of Excellence, Alyssa Carrie Grace Gamalicki. Also recognized with the MPA Award of Excellence, Claire Marie Kennedy. Also recognized with the MPA Award of Excellence, Ali Reza Tabatabai. Recognized with the MPP Award of Excellence, Giselle May Legaspi. Ariana Ponce. Jose Mejia. Jose Torres Casillas. Christine Tran. Zachary Kim. Marissa Kersey. Andre Fairley. Andrew Campbell. Marcus Wolf. Charles Alex Roberts. Alyssa Lucero. Richard Cervantes. Sergio Landeros Jr. Zachary Bonney. Frank Madrigal. Walid Hojej. Presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Law, beginning with those members of the class of 2022 selected by our Faculty Committee on Honors and Awards for special recognition. Recognized with the MSL Award of Excellence, Aubrey Nicole Reyes Medeiros. Tanisha Raj, accompanied by Kunal. Suha Rasa. Sumit Ray. Monica Lopez. Vanessa Chavez. Kaylee Hollander. Denise Navarez. Maria Lamberson. Katrina Smolin. Elena Dunas. Harmon Carr. Vanessa Opie. Novpreet Shoker. Presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in Transnational Business Practice, beginning with those members of the class of 2022 selected by our Faculty Committee on Honors and Awards for special recognition. Recognized with the Outstanding Graduate Student Service Award, Ksenia Kochneva. Recognized with the LLM Award of Excellence, Sabina Lemjuler. Alexander Vorontsov. Geraldine Umba. Gerline Kaur. Presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in International Water Resources. Kieran Annalise Madison. And she has a JD as well. Presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Laws in U.S. Law and Policy, Fizan Hussein. Zara Naravian. Zma Nakadeji. Hannah Veloso. Juan Misael Gutierrez Rivera. Presenting the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Juridical Science in International Legal Studies, Abdullah Al-Faraj. Abdulaziz Al-Zarani. Ladies and gentlemen, the Master of Public Administration and Public Policy, Master of Science in Law, Master of Laws, and Doctor of Juridical Science, Class of 2022. Provost Palavicini, we now present to you the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor, beginning with the valedictorians, salutatorians, and those members of the class of 2022 selected by our Faculty Committee on Honors and Awards for a special recognition. The valedictorian for the day division of the class of 2022 and also recognized with the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, Quentin L. Barbosa. Order of the Coif with great distinction. The valedictorian for the evening division of the class of 2022 and also recognized with the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, Jenna Renee Forster, with distinction. Tied for valedictorian for the evening division of the class of 2022 and also recognized with the Outstanding Scholastic Achievement Award, Matthew Paul Urban, with distinction and a concentration in capital lawyering. The salutatorian for the day division of the class of 2022, Rachel Mercy Pulio, Order of the Coif with great distinction. And she has passed the February bar. The salutatorian for the evening division of the class of 2022 and also recognized with the ALI CLE Scholarship and Leadership Award, Zohail Mukhtar, with distinction, passed the bar. Sophia Shirzai, with parents and husband. Recognized with the Outstanding Student Achievement Award for the day division, Michael C. Christosimo, with distinction and a capital lawyering concentration. Recognized with the ALI CLE Scholarship and Leadership Award for the day division, Scott Joseph Heroza, Order of the Coif, great distinction, a capital lawyering concentration. Recognized with the Outstanding Student Service Award for the day division, Isabella Rose DeSisto, with a trial and appellate advocacy concentration. Also recognized with the Outstanding Student Service Award for the Day Division, Flora Fazy, with distinction, Trial and Appellate Advocacy Concentration, Moot Court Honors Board. Also recognized with the Outstanding Student Service Award for the Day Division, Mo Reckel Navazio, with distinction, Capital Lawyering, and a Moot Court Honors Board member. Recognized with the Outstanding Student Service Award for the Evening Division, Alexander J. Lee, with distinction, Capital Lawyering concentration, and a Water and Environmental concentration. Recognized with the Outstanding Student Leadership in Diversity and Inclusion Award for the Day Division, Annie Claire Thomas, with a Capital Lawyering concentration. Recognized with the Outstanding Student Leadership in Diversity and Inclusion Award for the Evening Division, Isaiah Noel Cochran. Julienne Correa, with distinction. Melissa Hurtado Valdez. Jade Wolanski. Miguel Garcia. Brody Jorgensen. Brooke Jorgensen. Gabrielle Johnson. Tess Irving. Adrian Black. Michael Della Maggiore. Aya Alderi. Desiree Sanchez. Taylor Arthur. Kendra Jackson Jr. Joseph Tadeo Garcia. Taryn Chardella. Jacob Mendelson, Great Distinction, Order of the Coit. Ari Steinberg. Seampan Luangkan. Marianne Sanchez. Danny Manis. Hey. Payman Pushnajad.
Yeah, Payman.
Alexander Atkinson, with distinction, Trial Advocacy concentration. Citali Santana Garcia. Malina Lotus Dunk Walker. Madison Holm. Nicole Peterson. Sky Dawson. Jordan Taylor. Vivian Sarek. Amit Sharma with distinction, business concentration, international law concentration, and tax concentration. Ha Charlatran. Shisha Yang. Antonio Ubreu. Jeremy McClendon. Brandon Nicholas. Ali Dota. Mary Thompson. Rebecca Christian. Rebecca Fingerhood. Narek Melkonian with husband and baby. Marissa Conchita Gonzalez. Aranza Gonzalez. Mickley Niemöller. Stephanie Allen, Order of the Coif with great distinction, and she passed the bar. Blair Nicole Lynch with distinction, and also passed the bar. Allison Candle. Teeler John O'Connell. Order of the Coif, great distinction. Christopher Wheelis. Anthony Soliber, Order of the Coif, great distinction. Stephen Weiss, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Ryan LaRocca, with distinction, passed the bar. Geneva Lewis. D. Wynn. Douglas Hanecki. Brandon Richard Huff. Alexander Robert Ames. Yevgeny Pavlovich Pislar, with distinction, passed the bar. Jason Falina, with distinction. James Jr. J.J. Wynn. Savannah Kaur, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Matthew Wayne Ruff. Cody McNearney. Christine Liu. Nicole Raylan Renfro. Sarah Lynn Adkins. Steve Edward Martinez. Alexandra Darling. Madeline Rachel Jones. Nico Niravarani. Ryan Tyree. Dimitri Frangos. Thomas H. Terpstra. Brenna Bursell. Kajul Putel. Arash Alam. Dante Walters. Mark Justin Kayaba. Charles Robb. Jacob Haynes. Scott Thomas Taylor, Jr. Kate Brusso. Kendra Hall. Anna Weir. Elisa Nicole Eccles, with distinction. Karina Alcaraz, with distinction. Karen Carrillo, with distinction. Amy White, concentrations in business, capital lawyering, and tax, Law Review Ledge primary editor. Nika Kozravifard. Miranda Fernandez. Mackenzie Christensen, with distinction. Irvine Graywall. Navpreet Sekon. Karanveer Singh Gill. Stephen Arabidi, with distinction, intellectual property concentration. Francesca Torres, with distinction, chief comment editor on the Law Review. Christopher Reeves. Carlos Alcala. Connor Lee. Carla Cristina Silvera Labas. Jared Dobbs. Jackson Haddon. Aliyah Gorelick, with distinction, international concentration. Marie Avery, Environmental and Water Law, concentration. Sarah Wellington Knuckle, with distinction, concentration in trial and appellate advocacy. Nicholas Ponce, business, international tax concentrations. Kelly Sanche, with distinction. Jessica Perkins, with distinction. Tracy Dudick, with distinction. Zoe Corpy, with distinction. Munraj Olak. Keaton Turnipseed, with great distinction. Jessica Diane Adair, with distinction. Patrick O'Keefe. Andriana Bravo, business concentration. Miranda Freeman, with distinction and a tax concentration. Oleksiy Gromov. Annabella Youssef. Patricia Keeley. Victoria Sandalyak, with distinction. Michael Dastas. Justin Lee. Milad Ryan Selfightpour. Mamta Sharmil Singh, tax and business concentration, moot court. Dunya Mobali. Hannah Miller. Chase Steele. Micaiah Anderson, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Allison McCann, tax and business concentration, Order of the Coif, with great distinction. Jacob Sexton. Ladies and gentlemen, the Juris Doctor degree class of 2022.
If only you were more enthusiastic about your graduates. Congratulations. We at McGeorge are so proud to have been witness to the successes we have celebrated here today. On behalf of the class of 2022 and our faculty and staff, please join us for a reception on the law school campus immediately following the ceremony. I look forward to greeting you there. Dean Moylan, will now pronounce the benediction. Following the benediction, please remain in your seats until the graduating class has left the floor of the auditorium.
Let us come together to conclude this portion of our journey. Graduates, remember this day not as the end of your educational path, but as a milestone of achievement along the road to becoming the best that you have to offer the world and yourself. Every person in this room, the faculty members sitting behind me, the wonderful McGeorge staff working around this room, the parents, spouses, children, and friends, we are all here to continue to support you and available to help you as you continue to learn and grow. May this day recharge you. May it renew your determination to serve others, to make our world better, even if only for other humans immediately around you, and to be the change that you want to see. As you spread out into the world, remember the values and lessons of community that you have felt here at McGeorge. Bring a sense of care and community to everywhere you live and work from this day on. Find joy wherever you possibly can, even in bar study. Sow hope for yourself and others. Represent your school and one another well. With that, and in honor of the memory of my own father, who provided me with support through my graduations, and in recognition that many cultures have similar blessings and sentiments, I will leave you with a version of a familiar Irish blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rain fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may you remain safe and strong and well. We are adjourned.